Hello and welcome to In the Wall with me, Parker Kligerman. We are going to jump back into our betting segment once again. We tried this last week. I started with 100 Racing Beans, did all my picks. Guess what? I won Racing Beans. I now have 162 Racing Beans to bet this weekend at Bristol. How did I win all those? Well, I picked the winner in my smart pick, Brad Keselowski. Yep, 9-1. If you followed my recommendation, you're welcome. All right, let's jump into this week's picks. Let's start with the safety pick. Joe Logano, 7-1. Penske, 750 horsepower track. Ran great at Richmond last week. Don't really need to say much more. Putting 25 Racing Beans on that. My smart pick. This is one of those rare occasions where in NASCAR betting you get just an incredible opportunity. And that is Martin Truex Jr. at 18-1. Not at a super speedway. Nope. At a real racetrack at Bristol in a 750 horsepower package. Martin Truex Jr. is 18-1. I'm putting 15 Racing Beans on that. My long shots. Alex Bowman. I just like that. He loves Bristol. Greg Eyes talked about it. That team, I think, is on the upswing at 40-1. That just doesn't seem correct. I'm putting 10 Racing Beans on him. My other long shot, Matt DiBenedetto, or otherwise known as Matty D, he is 60-1. The guy almost won this race last year. I can tell you in that 21 car, he is very motivated to get into victory lane. Obviously, making the playoffs for the first time, that was a huge moment in his career, but I can tell you he desperately wants to win, and especially in the position he is in the points, he has to go in there thinking he has to win. And I believe he's had that place circled on his calendar all year long. So I'm going Matt DiBenedetto, 60-1, 10 Racing Beans. In the matchups, there was a ton of them, but I only really liked one of them out there. So this one was interesting to me. Kyle Busch versus Ryan Blaney. Kyle Busch, -130. Ryan Blaney, +110. Well, I know it's Kyle Busch's best track, or one of his best tracks. But if you've spoken to Kyle in the last 2 weeks, you will know that he's not even thinking about the playoffs. He's not even thinking about a championship. He is simply thinking about getting in victory lane. And I don't know. I've never heard Kyle Busch ever tell me anything other than he's the best, he's going to win everything out there, and if he doesn't, then it's someone else's problem. I just think that is not the mentality I've seen out of him before. So on the flip side, you have Ryan Blaney, who's in a must-win position. He's had a terrible start to playoffs. He loves Bristol. Todd Gordon loves Bristol. They have a lot to prove, and I know statistically in finishes that's not his best track, but I'm telling you speed-wise, it is one of his best tracks. He's led a ton of laps there. I'm going Ryan Blaney with 30 Racing Beans at +110. I'm feeling very good about that bet. All right. Then there's the group matchups. This is fun because they put up 4 drivers against each other, and you get to mention some drivers that we don't always get to talk about. And so one of the groups that caught my eye, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. versus Tyler Reddick versus Christopher Bell versus Cole Custer. Ricky Stenhouse at +255, Cole Custer at +310. I'm taking Ricky Stenhouse Jr. because that team is doing something that not many teams get the opportunity to do, and that is to experiment and do it at a high level. And Brian Patty and that race team are showing an incredible amount of speed the last couple weeks, and that is not by accident. They are bringing experimental race cars, and as a small organization, they get to iterate things quicker, and it's showing up on the racetrack. So I love that bet of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at +255 on that matchup. I think he'll show that same speed here at Bristol. All right, well, let me know what you think of my picks. Let me know what you thought of last week, although I don't care because I won and picked the winner, right? But let me know if you think of these ones, what you would have picked, and we'll see if I can come up with more than 162 Racing Beans next week. See you then.
Hey Motorsports fans, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe before you go for all the latest news and highlights across motorsports.